this is Nicole from Reading Out of Season, and I'm here to talk about my new BookTube channel after being away from BookTube for several years and after moving around the world from the United States to Australia. I have a new BookTube channel today called Reading Out of Season, and I'll talk about why I use that name as well. But first of all, I had a BookTube channel several years ago. It never got very big, and I only had it for a few months, but I had a lot of fun with it. I started the BookTube channel because my kids were going to school during the day and were away. My husband worked away during the day, and I wanted to communicate with other people about books. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, as I still do, and I wanted to be a bigger part of the conversation. So I started a YouTube video. I had a lot of fun with it. And then COVID hit, and my husband all of a sudden was working from home. My kids were at home all the time, and I didn't have a private space to record videos, and everything was kind of intense. I had a lot to deal with, and so I kind of just gave up. Since then, my family has moved to Australia. My husband's job ended up remaining an at-home job, and so he was able to move, and he is originally from Australia and wanted to move here. So it took a lot of doing, a lot of work, but and everybody in our family had to agree, which isn't that easy. My kids aren't young. They were 20 and 13 when we moved. They're 23 and 17 now. So we all had to want to do it, and we came to an agreement, and we set about to move, which took a long time and a lot of work. But here we are. We've been here for a little while now, and we love it. And so then, why did I come back to BookTube? Well, the answer is probably somewhat explained by that. I don't have much of a community here, and I certainly don't have people to talk about books with. I have my husband still works from home, but we have a bigger house, and so there's a front room here where I can sit and talk about books if I want to. And my kids are kind of in and out. You know, the older one is finishing up uni. COVID and moving from one country to another kind of slowed things down a little bit, but he's just about done. The younger one is entering her last year of just regular senior school. And I still don't know many people around here. My family is all in the town where we used to live, and everybody I grew up with is there. And so I still ache for a community to talk about books and about what I'm reading and all that with. Um, I guess I'd like to then go in about what I read. When I had my BookTube channel before, I was mainly reading memoirs. I was reading a lot of things. I've always read classics and literary fiction, and at that point, memoirs as well. I was really into memoirs. And I seem to have veered in a new direction now, and I'm reading a lot of mystery novels. So I'm sure I will change again with what I read. I tend to just follow wherever my interests go. So right now I'm reading a lot of mystery novels, and I'm really enjoying that. Not so many memoirs, but I'm still reading some. I still enjoy that. When I start to get into a reading slump, I tend to fall back into classics because people keep reading them after all this time for a reason, and so it seems like a safe bet. And one of the classics I picked up during a reading slump was The Mystery of the Yellow Room by Gaston Leroux. And all of a sudden, I got interested in mysteries, and I'm reading a lot of them. So I will talk about what I'm reading, mysteries or not. And I'd also like to spend some time in this channel talking about where I get books, because for me, reading is a very sustainable kind of hobby. It isn't expensive, and I don't think it has to be. I use e-readers, partially because I'm getting old and I can change the type size and the font, and I appreciate that very much. And partially just because, well, the e-reader costs some money, the books are a little bit cheaper, and I also use subscription services to get my books. I use the library. In the US, I mainly used a Kindle, but when I moved here, I got a Kobo because the Australian library systems worked better with Kobo. I still use the Kindle only for Kindle Unlimited. Otherwise, I use, if I buy books, I buy them either from my local bookstore here or from Kobo. And I use Kobo Plus. And then I also use Kindle Unlimited. And then I also go to op shops. I love going to op shops, which in Australian speak is like a thrift store kind of. And I have some books next to me that I've bought at op shops to show kind of some of my tastes, books I've read, and what great options there are out there in the world for inexpensive ways to read. Each of these books would have cost certainly under $3 Australian, which is about $2 US, and most of them cost probably $1. I see one book that I actually bought at a local bookstore, and that was new books are very expensive in Australia. I think I spent about $30 Australian on that book. So I'll show that one when it comes up. The first one I have is this old edition of Rebecca, and Rebecca is, of course, a great one. Again, I think this says 50 cents on it, so maybe that's what I paid. This is an old favorite from a long time ago, Mary Stewart, Nine Coaches Waiting. Now, I got this one. I would like a reread, but I thought my daughter, who is 17, might like to read it. Really likes she really liked Rebecca, and I thought this might kind of give her some of that same vibe, and she might like it. This is a favorite of mine and of my son's, John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath, and so I picked up a copy of that when I found it. That's a really great one. This, of course, is another classic, Wuthering Heights. This is one my daughter hasn't read, but my son liked, and I, of course, liked, and I've done a reread of relatively recently. And so, again, from an op shop, it's fun sometimes, these old covers you can find in the op shops too. This one, when it came out, was 70 cents Australian. The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. This is one of those mysteries I've been reading quite a bit. I absolutely loved it, and I really hope to get one of my kids reading it. I think they'd like it too. This is a favorite of both of my kids. They both really love The Great Gatsby, and my daughter loves the movie. This is the movie tie-in version of the Robert Redford, Mia Farrow, and so that's a fun one that they've both read. This is the one I bought new since I've been here in Australia, and this one cost $25 Australian, which is pretty expensive for a pretty thin paperback. However, new books are expensive here, and this one, it's a mystery called Tokyo Express. It is considered one of the best mysteries. It's really great. There are a lot of great post-war Japanese mysteries out there, and I've read several, and this one was one of those. It's wonderful. And then I've found some bigger books. A Thousand Splendid Suns. That is one of my favorites. I love everything he's written. I've gotten some nicer versions of Agatha Christie out at op shops. This cost me $1 Australian, which is less than $1 US. The Murder at the Vicarage, of course, this introduces Miss Marple. And then, anyway, I just wanted to show a little bit of what I like to read. Once upon a time, I probably would have read mass market paperbacks. Those aren't too expensive, but mass market paperbacks aren't really a thing anymore. And so I think today's version of mass market paperbacks, which would have only cost a few dollars, is probably ebooks. They're cheaper than other books. It's just you have to have an e-reader or read on your phone. I like e-ink. So again, I have a couple of e-readers, and I might talk more about those at some point. But I hope you do join me, and I hope to get some kind of, I'm looking for a conversation, not just a monologue. So I don't need a lot of activity, but I certainly would like to have some people to talk to. So please do consider liking, subscribing, and maybe leaving a message. And I watch a lot of BookTube on my regular channel, so I'll have to start watching under this channel as well and leaving some messages and get some conversations going. But anyway, thank you if you've made it this far, and I'll talk to you again later.